But we started in a different direction, right? That is, we began turning this into certain technological devices. So, is it possible to cultivate information using such technologies? At one time, I read Stanisław Lem's book, Summa Technologiae. And in this book, he showed that the path our science is taking, the scientific knowledge, the scientific method that exists, is a dead end, which will inevitably lead humanity to catastrophe. Well, whether it happens a bit sooner or a bit later, it doesn't really matter. He explains this in the book, so if anyone is interested, they can read it. And as a way out of this path, he suggested that there is nature, which seems to solve the same problem, obtaining new information, as science does. But it does this in a completely different way. That is, it doesn't build synchrophasotrons, it doesn't construct huge laboratories, it doesn't hire teams of employees, yet it still creates new living beings, it creates diversity, far beyond anything humans could ever imagine. But humanity, generally speaking, is actually doing the opposite, reducing the diversity that once existed in nature, right? So nature itself, in its intricate and profound processes, somehow possesses an inherent capacity to generate and create entirely new and novel information in a remarkably different and often unexpected way. This fascinating natural technology, this intrinsic ability, was also a subject of deep study and contemplation for the renowned Boris Evgenievich. He meticulously investigated and analyzed these natural mechanisms, ultimately coining and formally naming this complex and dynamic process as expert-operator interaction. And he identified the laws that underlie it. There are a whole series of lectures on this. If anyone is interested, they can find them online. So, when I started looking at this technology from the perspective of the approach that Lem proposed, he outlined several requirements for a system that generates information. He says, since nature knows how to grow information, we should use these principles to create such a system. I looked into it, and in fact this system already exists. It has already been created. Well, I thought, since it already exists, we should rely on it and try to grow a piece of information in a completely different field, where, in fact, no one has done anything yet. And so, as I started coming across some similar and analogous devices, like Gamma-7 and some other small, intricate devices that various people began to produce and develop, I clearly see that this too, in some significant way, is directly related to it. And so, therefore, I thought, what if we were to take Zolotov's expert operator methods as a fundamental basis and then carefully apply them to this particular and specialized field? And we tried it, and it started to work.